Kativity. I have Kiana back.
I'm back.
It's been a while.
It's been a year.
Yeah. We're going to talk about mysterious, unexplained sounds.
I personally like this topic because it's spooky.
Yeah. And I had my unexplained sounds like a couple months ago, which I have my dolls here. They wanted to hang out too, but...
We also have Mothman.
Yes, Mothman had to come.
I never thought I'd be snuggling with Mothman, but here we are.
Unexplained sounds. Tell me your faves.
All of my favorites are the ones that have to do with the ocean.
Okay.
So, the bloop.
The bloop's good.
The bloop is good.
I have heard the bloop.
The bloop is real good, and I know that they said that they explained what it was, but I don't know. It's probably an ice quake, but I don't know.
Yeah. Like, it still isn't as proven as it just being unexplained, so, like, at the same time, it's, like, kind of the same.
Slow Down is another one of my favorites.
I am not familiar with this.
I had it on here. The audio won't play, though, for whatever reason.
Where do I go? And that's played at slow-mo as well.
It's right? No, it's actually sped up.
Yeah, so this is sped up.
Yeah.
It sounds like something freaking landing.
Mm-hmm. And they said the explanation for it is that they think it was a iceberg becoming grounded, which I guess if it sounds like something landing, that's a appropriate explanation, but they keep picking it up, or they kept picking it up for a while at least.
And I'd be surprised, like, that it wouldn't happen more often if it is something related to the ice. Like, granted, I know the ice is melting a lot faster these days, but, like, you'd think that it wouldn't be as anomalous if it was something natural.
I always like them just because they sound spooky, but then the bloop, they say, is, supposed to be an ice quake.
Let's play the bloop just for
just
good measure.
Just for good measure. It always sounds so fun.
It sounds like a fart. It sounds like an underwater fart.
Whale farts, maybe? I
maybe.
don't know. And then there's another one on the formerly unidentified list, Julia, which is...
Does it say someone's name?
I don't know.
Most likely an iceberg had run aground. That sounded creepy.
Mm-hmm.
That felt like it had voice to it.
Yeah.
Like something clearing its throat.
I don't know. Like, specifically for me, it's the ocean ones that sound the creepiest or get me creeped out the most, just because the ocean is on our planet and we have next to no knowledge of what's in the deeper parts of it. Like, we have a bunch of stuff explained, but for the most part, there's a lot of areas that we just don't really look into.
We can't really get to it safely, or whenever we do, we're not there long. So we discover a few new things, but not much.
Yeah, we're like, oh hey, look, that's a real creepy fish. Let's go back.
Yeah. Or like, I just watched a thing about like whenever they did the Titanic re-exploration video, like they were halfway to the Titanic and they started hearing the glass starting to break. And they knew at that point they would never get back down that far, so they just pushed through and thankfully the glass held.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah, I wouldn't be playing with that.
No. No, I wouldn't be chancing things like that. It's like, okay, alright, time to go back up. Maybe we can do this again another time.
Right?
Maybe. There was a picture I saw yesterday of like I think it was in the basement of the Chernobyl reactor, but it was like the closest thing that humans have ever made to Medusa because it was like it was just leftover stuff from the explosion, and you can't get to it because if you got to it, the radiation is so strong that you would just die. And they couldn't get a picture of it. The picture that they have is taken through a mirror from the other side of the hallway because the little robot that they sent up to take a picture of it, like, melted whenever it came up to it.
What?
Granted, I don't know how reputable that is because it was just on an image in the internet, but I read that and I was like, huh, if that's true, that's terrifying.
Yeah, that's effed up. And when it comes to the ocean sounds, how you were saying, like, they're exceptionally creepy, I think the scariest part for me is, like, whenever you go swimming in a pool and, like, you go underwater and scream, and you, like, try to hear each other, you can barely hear screaming at the top of your lungs underwater. So something to make that loud of a sound would have to be, like, massive if it did create.
And granted, those ones are sped up. Most of the ones that you hear on there are sped up to, like, 16 to 13 times their normal ones. So in reality, you probably would almost not even hear it.
Yeah.
It's so low in frequency. So that's also scary that something's making noise and you just
can't even really tell it with human ears, at least. Sky trumpets are always
Sky
good.
trumpets!
Which I don't think I ever told the story on this channel about me hearing something the same year that, like, those were popular. But I went out in the woods, and it was before I ever heard about, like, the sky trumpets or the sky sounds or anything. I went on a walk in the woods off Pinsey Trail. And I was down in the woods where I've done photo shoots like 100 times. And I was just out there, and I heard this sound, and it honestly sounded like groaning metal making carousel music. It was weird, and it was really, really faint and really far off. And so, like, I didn't think a whole lot about it. I just kind of took it in and was like, this is really weird. But I didn't, like, think of it in a paranormal sense at all. I thought maybe I was hearing, like, traffic sounds or, like, truck sounds on the street. But then later on, whenever, like, the, like, 2012 is Weird videos came out, and, like, they did them for years. Yeah, like, it was around that time, and, I started hearing almost the same kind of sounds in those, and I was like, oh my god, did I hear this? Like, I didn't even know. And I didn't think to record it either, because I assumed it wasn't anything that crazy. But I guess a lot of them are, like, super loud. And a lot of people thought maybe what we woke up to that one night was something like that, but none of my neighbors had heard it, so I don't think it was.
I thought I heard something like that at one point, but then I realized it was actually explainable because it was the nearby hospital doing something with, like, I don't really know what they were doing. I just know I'd look over and they had, like, a little smokestack thing, and it would just blow off steam for about 15 minutes and then stop and then do it again.
And so what you were hearing?
When I woke up, I heard it, and I'm like, what is that? And then when I got closer to it, I'm like, okay, never mind. There it is.
Yeah.
Still don't know what they're doing, but all right.
And I know, like, before we recorded, we were saying how it's so important to come at things with, like, a rational perspective. Because it'd be so easy to assume that things are all paranormal.
I guess my problem was I had just woken up, and I was inside, and I heard this, like, almost like cymbals noise, and I was like, what is that? So I went ahead and got ready for the day, and I went outside, and it was significantly louder. I'm like, what is this? And I didn't know what it was until I got to it.
But now it makes sense.
But now I know.
And then one of my favorite unexplained sounds that we were talking about a little bit ago was the phantom singing sound that came out of the mine exploration.
I still haven't watched that one.
I'm finding.
You gonna pull it up?
Yes. I think it's the same dude who did the other 2 mine exploration videos that I have on a playlist. But he went back, and it's a long video, so we will have to pause and let you watch it. But I'll at least insert a clip of, like, the creepy part, so that way they can see it.
You can see how big these timbers are. That's about almost a foot in diameter, the big cross timber, so they had to put big ones in here to hold up all of this rock. And you can see right here where some of these boards are bending. Do you hear that? Sounds like, what, is that wind? I don't know if you can hear that on the camera. Do you hear that? stopped. Well, I don't know what that is. That doesn't sound like wind, but that's crazy. Don't know if that's a bird or I don't know what that is. It almost sounds like snakes, but wow. I've heard some weird stuff in mines, but that is definitely creepy. I don't know what that is. So let's get out of here.
So we just finished the mine video. I think I scared her pretty good.
No! That was like, he kept trying to explain it away, like, maybe it's a bird, maybe it's snakes. No, dude, I know you're trying to keep your cool, but that doesn't sound like birds or snakes.
Like, the best rationalization I could give it is maybe, like, wind. Like, a very small wind source making weird tones, but to me you could hear multiple kind of voice sounds.
There were multiple voice sounds, and it was very rhythmic, so I don't know. The other thing I guess I could think of is like sometimes people go into tunnels to just screw around with things and maybe somebody set up some sort of like timed recording, but that's really convoluted.
And the likelihood that somebody would actually get back that far to trigger it.
Because we sped through some of that video. It's like 15 minutes long.
And it's all one take. It's just one dude out there in the middle of nowhere. So I mean, like, it'd be very difficult to set it up and stage it. Mm-hmm. And to me, it sounds like either just a crowd of people whispering or chanting, and it's so creepy. And I love this guy's videos. Like the ones that do have anomalies, I really do feel like are probably genuine.
Yeah. No, I enjoy the videos too. It's just that one in particular was like, yikes, no.
It's intense.
Yeah, because they sound angry.
Yeah.
So it's like, he keeps going back once he hears it. He's like, what's that? I'm like, no, bye.
You just get out of there, man. No.
I'm not getting caught up in no ritualistic whatnots.
Yeah, because it does sound like something out of a horror movie.
Yeah, straight up.
Yeah.
Unexplained noises.
Now I gotta find some other ones. I don't know if we can beat that one though.
No.
It's really good.
I guess I told you earlier about how I went over to a friend's house, and her house is known for some unexplained stuff. She'll see people walk up and down the stairs every now and then, but when I was over at one point, we were the only two people home, and we heard singing from below us, because below her room is the kitchen. And we're sitting there, and at first we were like, okay, that's gotta be the wind, but we're sitting there, and as I'm listening to it, I realize, no, it has a definite pattern to it. And we go down, and nobody else is home, because we wanted to double check, like, hey,
like maybe a TV's on low or something.
Maybe a TV's on, or maybe somebody came home, but no, nobody was there. So,
yeah.
Once we looked into it, though, we didn't hear it again, but...
And then you were also talking about there's like a somewhat local phantom sound. The thump.
Oh, the thump!
Yeah.
There's a local cemetery, and my friend took me there. And when you go there, if you stay for long enough, you'll hear a thump, as if like a crabapple were falling on the ground, but there's no crabapple trees, and you'll hear it any season. So when I heard it, it was winter, so there were
nothing to fall off the trees.
There was nothing to fall off the trees in the first place, but we stood there, and we stood there for quite a while just like looking around, and we were also looking at some of the gravestones because the gravestones were really cool. So like as we're looking, we hear a thump noise, and we can't determine where it came from. We just heard it. We're like, huh, alright, cool.
Yeah. Like, I love those kinds of, like, phantom sounds that, like, are historically, like, regular at certain places. Like, those are fun. I really want to go there.
Yeah, no, you come up and we'll show you.
I'll just have to make sure, like, my battery doesn't die or I run out of memory right before it happens, because that'd be my luck. And I'd be like, dang it, no!
No! Like, whenever last Ouija session, the camera kept taking pictures and the other camera died as soon as that happened.
That was weird.
That was weird.
That was unexplained for sure.
An explained noise that, for whatever reason, just creeps me out, wind chimes.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I guess it's not so much like they legitimately scare me, it's just I'll sit there and they just are unsettling to me for some reason.
So no, like, Zen meditation music with chimes for you?
No, because I'll sit there and it's just, they don't quite sound right, and they don't quite sound together, so I'll sit there and I'm like,
It's probably just the musician in you, like, having sang for so long and stuff, and just knowing music, being like, this isn't a song.
Well, then again, I like it because it's wind making the noise, but at the same time, they just sometimes sound so creepy, and I just...
See, my favorite wind chimes are the ones that are like the wood ones that kind of sound like in old-timey cartoons, like Rattly Bones.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I like those. I guess the ones that I'm talking about specifically are like the metal ones, because they make the ringing noise, and it's like the resonation that follows after is like...
And it's not like a solid, it kind of whirs and has like emotion to it, so I know what you mean, yeah.
Like, I mean, I still like wind chimes, but they just creep me out sometimes.
And I know, like, a rational sound that creeps me out is subliminal messages that are supposedly in music, but they're not really, and sometimes they are. Just anything played backwards creeps me out.
Poppy's videos, people try and play them backwards and try and make meanings out of them.
Dory, my friend, she just found out that if you turn on subtitles, sometimes the subtitles will say totally different stuff.
Oh,
and it's not in every video.
Not yet. She, in all the videos, they have a... It's basically the description of the video is the script for the video, and there's a couple of them that the script is different from what she says. Like, she says things that are
totally different.
And I know...
Did you watch her live by any chance?
Part of it.
Was it the one where she was sitting on the couch with the phone? Oh my god, I was in love with that one. It was so good. Now it's just developed to us talking about Poppy. I love her.
Unexplained noises. Poppy.
I'm trying to think of more unexplained sounds now, though. We have one in our town that's supposedly where the old railroad used to be and the trail is now. Abe Lincoln, whenever he passed away, that was the train track that they took him across the country. And supposedly you could still hear a train whistle of the train. And I cannot tell you how many times I've heard a train whistle. And there's no trains around here.
Okay, fun fact, that railroad goes through my property or my grandparents' property, so...
Yeah, because you live right off
Yeah, and I'll hear it sometimes too. I haven't heard it in a long time, but I remember being outside and I just hear a train whistle and I don't... There's no trains.
Like, I used to live way out in the country, and I used to think that maybe the train I was hearing was from, like, the next town south, and it was carrying, but honestly, I was so much closer to here, and since living in town, I still have heard it a few times.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's semis, because sometimes semis do make similar sounds, and it sounds like a train.
Yeah, no, so... Also, sometimes when you live out in the woods, you hear things, and you kind of have to explain some of them away, because sometimes you're like, somebody's out in the woods hunting. But...
Or animals.
Or animals.
Animals will make weird noises. Yeah.
Oh, man. Foxes sound terrifying when you don't know that it's a fox, because they sound like screaming.
Yeah.
So, that's happened before. Going back to that railroad, we try to go over there. It's not quite on our property, though, so technically we're not allowed over there, but my cousins and I would just be like, screw it, we're gonna go over there anyway.
Yeah.
I remember one time we went over there and we found, like, bullet casings along that railroad, and we're like, what are these? And, like, real nearby, we heard this loud popping noise, and we're like, okay, time to leave. So, I guarantee that was somebody just off hunting or just shooting things, because that's what people in the country like to do sometimes. They just shoot for no reason.
Yeah, there's a lot of that here.
But then there was another one that my friend and I were out, and we had a golf cart because the property was so huge that you need one to get around everywhere.
Yeah.
And we were just riding around because that's what we would do as kids. And we stopped at one point just to, like, talk and look around at stuff. And we heard laughing from directly above the golf cart. Like, it was loud too, and it wasn't just like, laughing, it was cackling.
What?
And we still don't know what it was. We have no way to explain it because there wasn't anybody else out. We didn't happen to look up because, one, there was a roof over the top of the golf cart, and two, we were like, no.
No, I don't want to know what's there.
I don't want to know.
Oh
There's no reason.
Oh, that's creepy.
Yeah, and I haven't heard it since then. It's been several years, but yikes.
Yeah. too creepy for me.
3 creepy, 5 me.
Yep.
There's also one with the one World Trade Center, the new one that they made. They, while the building was being constructed, they report that they heard weird noises coming from it, but they were like, yeah, it's probably because it's not finished yet and the wind's going through the platforms, but
Still kind of weird.
still kind of weird.
Yeah. Especially since, like, so many people passed away there. Like,
Strange wailing noises were reported during the transit of Hurricane Sandy while the building was still under construction.
I did not even know about that.
Yeah.
That is
I
so
didn't
weird.
either.
That is so weird. One that I wanted to mention was the hum, which other
saw
people
that.
had kind of suggested maybe that's what I heard too, but
Mhm.
I don't think that's the case either. But it says here that they popped up all around the world. I was only really familiar with the one in, like, New Mexico, like,
Mhm.
Southwest area,
Yeah.
but there's just a hum, like a tone to the land, and no one knows what it is. Like, they can't figure it out. It's always been there. Like, it's not like it popped up after we, established different buildings. It's just part of that world, like that part of the world. And I have no idea what it could be. Nobody else does. But it seems like there's actually, like, a group of people, like, that hear it more, and they're between the ages of 55 and 70. So I wonder if it's one of those type of tones, like, how certain, like, younger people are more sensitive to higher pitched tones than older people. Like, if it's some kind of weird sound anomaly that you're more sensitive
Yeah,
to
and older
older.
people tend to not hear high-pitched sounds. They hear lower-pitched sounds better, so...
So maybe it continually drops
Mhm.
and you sense it more then.
Huge statue, I don't...
Colossi of Memnon. Yes.
Yes.
Which we were not familiar with
Are
until
two
we
massive
Googled.
stone statues of the pharaoh Amenhotep III. So they're in Egypt. But anyway, it makes a sound sometimes, I guess. And in 27 BC, a large earthquake reportedly shattered the northern Colossus, and it collapsed it from the waist up, and it cracked the lower half. And since then, every now and then they'd hear whistling or singing noises from it. And they think it's just because it's dew evaporating out of the rock, because the rock's super porous, and it always happened at sunrise. So
as something is heating.
yeah, as it's coming up, the dew's just kind of going like, I'm gonna evaporate and make noises as I go.
To have it come out of a friggin' statue.
Mm-hmm.
I need to actually, I'm planning on doing a video about the statues that, like, move on their own or cry. Like, those freak me out, and it's so cool.
Bioduck? Bioduck. What is bioduck?
I don't know.
A mysterious quacking-like sound which was first reported in the open ocean by submarines in the 1960s.
Quacking in the ocean?
I guess. In 2014, it was claimed that the source of the sound had been identified as being vocalizations from an Antarctic minke whale. Or minke, I don't know. M-I-N-K-E.
Mink or minky?
It's a whale.
Okay. Yes.
It's a whale quacking.
I never knew.
Also on the list of interesting sounds, the one whale who sings at a frequency that's too high for other whales to hear.
I think I read about that.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
Because,
Because he can't communicate with any other whales.
No, so he can't, make friends.
That's sad.
I'd be friends with that whale.
Do you guys know of any other unexplained sounds that are your favorite? Because if so, we want to know about them.
Tell us about them.
Yeah, because we knew about some, and we found out about some more that we shared with you today, so hopefully we'll learn even more.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with Kiana and me. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Turn on notifications. Leave comments. We like to talk to you. She loves to check on the comments of the videos that she's in because you guys are so sweet to her.
I
so
may
be
not
nice.
say anything, but I see them and I love you.
Yeah. So thanks for watching. This is Paranormal Kativity and Kiana.
And me.
Have a strange day. Bye.
Bye.
You had it wait. That was so cute.